Michelle is a visibility marketing and speaker success coach who helps female coaches build a business they actually love by getting seen in all the right places and attracting paying clients. She is the host of the YouTube channel Marketing but Easier, a former pharmacist turned powerhouse coach. And yes, she hiked 26 miles of the Inca Trail with a disability. So if she says you can handle the stage, she means it. Born in Taiwan, raised in New York, and now living in Los Angeles. With her orange tabby cat, Toby, Michelle's the kind of coach who challenge you, cheer you on, and hand you the mic because it's time your message got the spotlight it deserves. She's going to present today. Find your signature message, the one presentation that gets you booked and remembered. Ready to stop recycling random speeches and finally create a talk that builds your brand, book your clients, and actually gets remembered. In this interactive learning lab session, you will learn how to find your signature message, the one powerful presentation you can deliver on podcast stages, Zoom rooms, or workshop that positions you as the go to expert without sounding pitchy. Whether you are a coach, consultant, or creative professionals, you will walk away with the things takeaways from this presentation. Why every speaker needs a signature talk, not just random speeches. The difference between a talk that shares versus a talk that sells. Third, brainstorming exercise. What do people come to you for? Last one, the signature message starter prompt. Come with your story, leave with strategy. It is my pleasure to welcome Michelle Kuei. Find your signature message, the one presentation that get you booked and remembered. Find your signature message, the one presentation that gets you booked and remembered. Michelle Kuei.
Thank you, Manga. Good morning, everyone. So, presentation are boring. Yes, it is boring. And I know what it feels like to sit through a boring presentation. Now, my presentation is very different because I'm going to ask your participation. So those of you who are awake and you are in a different time zone, it's bright light, sunshine for you. I need you to turn on your camera so I can see your happy smile. And I don't care if you have makeup on or not. If you're a guy, you have no excuse unless you want to go rush to the restroom and put on some lipstick. I don't care, but you have no excuse of not being on the camera. Yes? As a Toastmaster, we thrive on being on camera and having that interaction from our audience. And therefore, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and turn on your camera so I can get to meet you. Now, if I were to ask you, if I were to give you the mic right now and I asked, tell me what you speak on, whether it's inside Toastmaster or outside Toastmasters, what is the key topic that you speak on? Can you tell me in very short moment? So type it into the chat. Let me know if you do already have a topic or presentation that you go to all the time, you present it in front of your audience, in front of Toastmasters, in front of your club. Do you have a go-to speech that you go to all the time? If you do, type in the chat what that topic is. If you don't have one, then today is your lucky day because you are at the right place. And like I said, this is a very interactive workshop. I like to call it a presentation workshop because I do ask you to go through the exercise with me so that I can help you to identify your signature message. Who's excited? Drop a high fire emoji into the chat for me. Let me know that you're here, you're alive, you're awake, you had 2 cups of coffee or 3. I don't judge, but go ahead and drop that into the chat. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I do have some slides that I would like to go over before I take you on this presentation workshop where you're going to be asked to do some exercise. So if you do have pen and paper, grab them right now, or a notepad, get it ready so that you can participate in the next few minutes, I would say 45 minutes, with me as we define your signature message. Okay, so the topic that you're working on today is going to be finding your signature message, the one presentation that's going to get you booked, whether you are working internally in a corporate environment or you're looking to present in front of a new audience, whatever the goal that you may have. We're going to find that key go-to message so that you can be remembered. And if your goal is to get more clients for your business, or you want to have more followers on your social media, this is the one talk that you're going to get remembered. Now, those of you who are new to me, I'm Michelle, and I've been a Toastmaster since 2018. I was an area director from 2020 to 2021. Thank goodness for pandemic, because that was a year where I totally participated and leveraged the Zoom beauty, the Zoom world from start to the end. I was the co-chair for Speaker Bureau in 2023. I won the International Speech Contest at District in 2022 and also 2025. I am outside of Toastmaster. I am a business and visibility coach for coaches, and I've just recently been named the top 15 coach in the LA area and also been featured on Life Coach magazine. Besides that, I also have a clinical pharmacist degree. I am a doctor of pharmacy. All right, so you are here not to hear more about me. You are here because you want to have a signature message that you can go out and deliver to your audience. So we're going to get to that. And first of all, let's talk about the difference between a talk that that people share versus a talk that people will actually get you sell with their invitation to the stage or whatever that looks like. Now I want you to type into the chat the word opportunity. Type into the chat opportunity. Now, why is opportunity important? Well, so the difference between a talk that share and versus a talk that sells is that a forgettable talk, it means missing opportunity, right? We all sat through those talks where it's easy to forget. Like you might have heard in very inspirational stories or a podcast or YouTube channel, you're really pumped, really fired up. Or maybe you go to the conference at the end of the year or during the year and you're listening to a motivational speaker and they'll get you fired up. And as soon as you walk out the conference room, what do you get? Oh my goodness, that motivation just disappeared. The idea that you have since January, it's just not happening anymore. Why? Because that was a talk that worth sharing, but no one will come back and say, you got to meet this person. That's what we're going after today. Okay, so I want you, by the time that we finish today's presentation, I want you to walk away knowing that you have a key message, you have a go-to message that you can share with the world that you are proud of, and your audience is going to come back and say, you got to meet this person. That is the kind of talk I want you to deliver, whether it's in your club, in your area, in your district, or perhaps you want to carry it outside of Toastmaster, please do. Because there's a good chance that you join Toastmaster having a bigger vision of becoming a better leader, of impacting more people. And this is what you're going to need in order to create that ripple effect that you have this ability to not only just deliver great speech, you also have the ability to get people to remember you and therefore more opportunity. Okay, so obviously, a memorable talk means you get referral, you get promotion, you get obviously clients, and those of you who's interested in getting onto a bigger stage or perhaps even becoming a professional speaker where you would like to get paid, it means that more stages, right? So if I were to put side by side, what is the difference between a talk that share versus a talk that sells? A talk that share is inspirational. It's entertaining. Like right now, I'm entertaining everybody, right? Put down entertainment right there inside the chat. And I often like to say that a lot of coaches or speakers who does this type of presentation were actually edutainer. We're educating and also entertaining at the same time. So put down edutainer if this is the type of presentation that you would like to deliver in the future in your club or in your area or in your district, or perhaps even at your work. A talk that share also gets a few claps and maybe a couple of DM. People will reach out to you. Oh, that was amazing. That was beautiful. That's a great story. I'm really touched. But that was it, right? People leave the room saying, oh, that was cool. And they forget. Now, the talk that sells is going to allow you to help someone from the audience to solve a real problem, a burning problem that they may have. It also positions you as the expert, as the guide, right? It's going to leave them wanting more. Tell me more. I want to hear more. So they're going to come back to your conference, to your workshop, to your presentation over and over and over. It's also going to get you booked for speaking gigs, also getting you paid as a professional speaker. And most Toastmasters are thriving. We're driven to be on the TED Talk stage. Now, the problem with TED Talk stage, it doesn't get you a book as a or paid as a speaker. It's great for authority. It's great for credibility. It's great for all that. But again, it doesn't correlate a revenue into your business if you're doing this for your business. Okay, all right. Let's see where my slides are. Okay, here we go. So your question may be, right now you're sitting there and thinking, well, exactly what counts as a signature message? So what is a signature message? A signature message has 4 things, right? It has a one clear idea. Let me go back to the slide. There we go. It has a one clear idea. It is focused on your audience and not you. It doesn't showcase you. It maybe 1 line or 2 line. See how quickly I went through who I am and I quickly jump into this is about you, right? Your signature talk is never about you. And we all get that feeling of when someone pitch so much about themselves, they're on the spotlight, they're on the pedestal, but it has nothing to do with me. And so that's why you checked out of being in their vicinity because it's all about them. What's in it for me? Nothing. Okay, bye, right? Bye, Felicia. So the one talk is going to help. It's focused on them, your audience, and not just about you. It also speaks to a specific problem that you're helping your audience to solve. So I want you to think about what has been something or a problem or something that people just keep coming to you and ask you about. Right? What is that one thing you keep finding yourself solving it? Maybe you open your email and at work, someone asks you a question and they don't ask anybody else. They ask you because you're so good at helping them resolving it, solving the problem. So that might be one of the problem that you can talk about that generalizes for everybody, for all the other audience who might have the same question over and over again. A signature talk or signature message is also repeatable and it is recognizable. Okay, one of the signature talk that I always go to is how small steps can create big changes. And those of you who had attended the international speech contest, that was my go-to topic. Small changes create big change, big changes. Now, who's ready to find your signature talk? Who has a signature talk? Like, did you all participate? All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute, and I want to see everybody. Did you all give me a virtual? Well, actually, raise your real hand if you already have a go to message. Umanga has one. Awesome. Mark, do you have one? Yay! Annette has also a go-to message. Richard has one. All right, great. Now, so those of you who already have one, the exercise that we're going to go through probably is going to be a little bit of repetition for you. However, I like to always keep myself open-minded just in case I found myself having one of those aha moments. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, this is something new. So I always end up learning something new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, drop a worksheet for you inside the chat. So you can go ahead and download it. And please do not share outside of Toastmasters, outside of Learning That. It is something that I came up with, I created. So just so everybody is aware. Now I'm going to drop it into the chat so you can grab it and you can save a copy of it. And in the future, later after the session, if you want to work on it more, then you're welcome to work on it for more. All right. So we are going to go ahead and grab that handout real quick. And then I am going to walk you through on how to find your signature talk message. All right. I have so many screens going on, so bear with me. Let me move things around. Where are we? Here. All right, everybody got the handout? Okay, so that's find your signature message together. Now, as you're opening up the exercise or the handout, you're going to see a series of questions that I had asked and created. Where is it? Here you go. All right. I'm struggling with technology right now. Just everybody know. Those of you who don't feel like you're good with technology, I'm here because I'm struggling with technology right now. All right, that's find your message. Now, if you go to the page, go to your exercise, you're going to see a series of questions I have asked. So we're going to work on the first part first. Okay. So the first question is, what do you stand for? What do you stand for? So if you think about, and this might require you to like write it down or type it out, which is why I gave you a Word document format so that you can type it out and we'll workshop this together. Okay. So what topic or message do you feel called to talk about? That gets you like waking up 2 o'clock in the morning, you're all fired up, or some of the topic, it actually breaks your heart, right? Some of the topic that I have helped clients with was people who have domestic abuse. And it was a topic that's really dear and deep in their heart. And those would be the example where, maybe it's a topic that doesn't get you fired up. It actually breaks your heart. So maybe you have one of those memory from the past. Now, let's say you work in a corporate environment, you go to a 9-to-5 job. Maybe you are someone who work with a team. So you help team to become better. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just write it out before we go on to question number 2. Okay, I'm going to give you some time to think about that. So write 1 to 2 sentences. What do you stand for? So I'll give you some example in a moment. When you're done, you can just look up, and this way I know to move on. And I know Bob is thinking very hard on this question.
That's just trying to figure out the technology here.
Yes. And I can also email you a copy. No worry, Bob. Okay, I think most of you are done. Perfect. Thank you. Give me a hands up. All right. So 2 hands up. Okay, I'm gonna have to create some firework then. There we go. All right. So what's that one problem? And feel free to put that into the chat. What do people always come to you and ask question about, right? And that is usually where your signature message is hiding. All right. So again, maybe you work with teams at work and you help them by making better communication, making communication better. So it's clear, it's kind, it's productive. Or maybe you are someone who had been the effect or the victim of burned out. Okay, so throughout the years, there's a lot of things you have a long list to do, and you believe that burnout is not a badge of honor, and you're here to help people to set better boundary and still succeed. Okay, so because you personally have gone through that stages of burnout, or maybe you want people to feel that they actually matter, right? And that's where I used to feel is that I don't feel that a lot of people are getting seen, and I don't feel that people have that level of self worth. And so when I first started out as a speaker, a lot of what I spoke about was being confident, having that self worth, the self care. So maybe you want people to feel like they matter because most of us walk around feeling invisible. Or maybe you believe that small and consistent action step will change lives and even lead to a bigger dramatic transformation. So those are some of the examples of what that message will look like. Now, from here, we go on to the next question, right? So you wanted to brainstorm a few of your key title for your presentation, right? So once you have the message, and hopefully your title is going to somewhat coincide with what you're going to talk about in the key message. Otherwise, there's a disconnect, right? And my next presentation is going to talk about how you structure this talk. So I'll give you more information on the date. I want you to put that onto your calendar so that you can join me so that we can create your structure, your talk together. So you wanted to think about, well, first of all, who is this going to be for, right? Who do you want to help? Team members. Maybe it's a mid-level manager. Maybe it's a busy mom having a lot of things to do. Maybe it's a I don't know, like a 30-year-old woman who's going through trying out all these different diets. So you wanted to think about who your talk is for. Now, I get this a lot. Well, my talk is for everybody. I hate to break the news to you that it is not for everybody, right? My talk is not going to be for everybody. Not everybody resonate with the high level energy. 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm showing up on a Zoom call and I'm high level energy, right? Not everyone appreciate that level of loudness, that level of energy. Annette said that was me back in the day. So please, please, please think about who you want to create that change and make that ripple effect for someone. All right. And that is going to determine how we're going to come up with this talk in my next presentation. And that's going to matter because you want your talk to be remembered and not just something that sounds like everybody else. Right. So if you go through the exercise, the next question is, what is the problem that they're facing? So you wanted to have a couple of bullets. What I would recommend is up to 3 bullets. So I know there's a lot of us who's very ambitious. We want to go out, we want to help, we want to talk about, from A to Z, all the list of big problems that people have. But I want you to narrow it down to just no more than 3. On the exercise, you see 2, because I know we all have a tendency. We have this abundance mindset where we go out and we start to list all the problems that people have. No, just limited to most 3 problems that people are experiencing within that group, within that community that you're passionate to spread your message to. Now, once you do that, once you go through the exercise, the next step, okay, that's going to be on the next page, you're going to want to put it into a sentence like this, right? I believe burnout is not a badge of honor, or I help team to work better by making communication kind, clear, and productive. So as you go through that exercise, you're going to identify your key message, your signature message, and write that onto your worksheet. Okay, I'm going to tell you in a minute how exactly we're going to use that message. Now, once you have that message, your next step is to have a title. Now, depending on what you came up with that message, your title should be something that matches your message, right? So if you're talking about burnout, they might be, and setting boundaries. So your title might look like boundaries are the new hustle. Okay. Instead of hustling to the to-do list, we now have something else to hustle. We need to hustle the boundary so that everybody set better boundary so that they can avoid the burnout. Or speak like human, the new rules of communication. If you're working with team and you're getting them to communicate better, more clear, more kind, then maybe that would be a potential title that you can use. For that change, right? Small steps, creating big changes. It could be just 1% of shift that will change everything. That could be potentially your future speech title. So all these is to say that your title of your speech or your go-to signature talk need to match the message that you're believing in. It's like I would describe it as an inner compass, right? We need some kind of inner compass in order to drive for the direction that we're heading in a talk, so that when the talk is a little off topic, we know exactly how to gear it back because we have this inner compass. And that's what this talk is for. This presentation is for, to help you to identify what that inner compass looks like so that you have a better way of navigating it through your future presentation, your signature go-to presentation. All right. So you now have the core, right? When you go through that exercise, and I'm going to give you time, maybe it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, go sit down and find yourself a coffee shop, take out your journal, take out your pen, and just jot down what that message is. Take your time. You'll find a lot of these aha moments. So now that you have this core signature message, right? Give yourself a pat in the back, right? Right? Do that right now. Give yourself a pat in the back. That's one thing that a lot of people having trouble in finding, right? Because I want to help this person, I want to help that person, and all these different problems that look so good and juicy. It's like you're laying out in a buffet and everybody get a piece of everything. So you go to your club and you're doing a presentation, you talk about basically everything under the sun. And so it makes sense that your presentation or your talk is something that people can forget. Now, by doing this, by streamlining what your future presentation and your future message is going to be, people are always going to remember the topic that you talk about. Maybe it's the boundary, helping people setting boundary. Maybe it's the communication. They're always going to know Umanga is great at helping team to communicate better, clear, and kind. That's, people are going to remember you. Repetition, put out repetition. Repetition is a great thing. Okay, you want to repeat multiple times so that people will remember. All right, so as you go through this exercise, it's going to slowly help you to map out exactly what your signature talk or your signature message is going to be. Okay. So fill it out. And I would love to have some volunteer if you're ready. And I know Annette already has a talk because she raised her hand earlier for me. So I would love to call a few of you to raise your virtual hand so I can call on you to help you workshop this. Okay. Umanga is like, ooh, I hope she doesn't call on me. Yeah. I can see that look on your face. I hope she doesn't call on me. All right. Who needs more time to work on the sheet before you raise your virtual hand? Okay, Umanga, you're up. Please go ahead and unmute yourself. And I am going to take myself off this the spotlight so we can have everybody.
Okay.
So we can see everybody.
So you want me to go through first my signature message?
Yes. So tell me, what is your signature message?
When I became a Toastmaster, frankly speaking, it was very difficult for me to find a talk like what you were talking about. The comfortable thing was to me how I start to speak in public about my research topic. I love research. It is my passion, I always believe. So what I did for my dissertation, I tried to find some catalyst to solve the problem of electricity. What I did, I synthesized some catalyst to oxidize water to find hydrogen. So I read many papers and I have knowledge about that. That's the place I started to talk about. So when somebody asks what is the convenient thing for me to start to talk about, I always that's come to my mind first. I love to talk about what are the alternative energy sources and how can we solve the problem of energy issue we are going to face in the future. That is my signature thing, I guess, always.
And so let me ask you, who is your talk going to be for? Like, who needs to listen to this talk?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I I know it is related to chemistry, but I always wanted to make it to very simplify because everyone can understand. That's why I try to make it not to talk about chemistry part, make into the general way to talk anyone can, such as my son who's 10-year old. So I try to make it to that simplify for him to understand. That's what I target always. If a 10-year-old can understand, I know others can understand.
Okay, so Umaga share a very common and very interesting way of bringing your expertise into a topic that can be for everybody, right? Those of you who have expertise in one specific area, maybe it's academic background that you came from, and your knowledge has been for a specific area that might not fit for everybody. So with Umaga, I asked, well, who do you want to be in front of? In other words, right? Who's the audience that you would like to try to be in front of? Now, your answer was, oh, I try to change not so much about the chemistry to my son, to the general public, so that they understand. Now, my question to you would be, once they understand this, how is that going to help them in their life?
So what my main goal is to aware people. These are the problem we are going to have, but you have this kind of alternative. When we compare this alternative, this is the best way. We do have so much of water. When I talk about water splitting or water oxidation, it means simply term is water break into the H2O break into the hydrogen and oxygen molecule, because 75% of world surface covered with water. I know different kind of water, but when we split water, it is more accessible to have a very clean energy in the future. That's what I wanted to say, because pollution is the air pollution is a big problem today. So when we use the water, there is no pollution at all. This is going to be a great solution. That's why my main target audience is the general public, because it really helps for everyone.
Okay, so here's what I'm hearing, and you can think about this, right? So your talk or your presentation is about the air pollution. Let's say air pollution for now. Okay, air pollution is a pollution in the air and the scarcity of our energy resources. There's going to be less because the climate continue to change. So there's going to be less food, less water, less of everything for all the overpopulating human being that exists on this planet. Now you're creating awareness through your talk so that they can become aware that by understanding how the energy break down and how you can conserve energy, and therefore it's going to help our future generation.
Yeah.
So the problem is the pollution, overpopulation. The solution is to help them to become more energy efficient, to help them to recognize the awareness of, hey, we don't have unlimited amount of all the things that we share in this planet. Think about your kids, think about your future. And here is how I can help you to be more energy efficient.
Yeah.
And you do that through your talk. And
Yes.
Umanga, you might want to go back to the recording because I think I gave you some like very juicy topic.
Thank you. No worries. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
Of course. Anybody else would like to share your message? Annette. Annetta. Did I keep calling you Annette
Yes,
because I didn't see the A.
because
Go
there's no
ahead.
other Annette or Annetta in the room. I know it's me, but it is Annetta. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I wanted to volunteer because I want to work through my message. I have a message, but it is not memorable. So I have work to do. And the reasons it's not memorable is because I'm not getting the paid speaking engagements. I'm missing the opportunities. Let me just keep it simple. So this is what Anetta has based on what you told me today. I believe where I believe rest is a right, and I want to help others grow their confidence intentionally and achieve their personal and career goals with intention so that they solve their problems. So the problem I'm solving is the lack of confidence that people have.
Okay. All right. So tell me who your talk is for.
Oh, now that gets interesting because
Oh, okay.
that's where Netta would have said everybody, 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 level up. But I do now have that audience. Working mothers, mothers reemerging back in the workplace, mothers reimagining their purpose, and empty nester moms rethinking or thinking about retirement, their next. That's my generation.
Mm.
And that
Okay.
was an audience that I missed before. Anyway,
All right. And I love all of what you share. I am not a mom. However, I can totally relate to the rest. Can you tell me again what that key message was? Rest is what?
I'm sorry, rest is a right.
Rest is
Rest
a rest to
is
rest.
a to rest is a right where people think, oh, I've done this, now I can rest.
Okay.
And to see that rest is part of the journey, that they're not using that. And that's why there's a lack of confidence in these groups.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through. I'm gonna kind of put you on the hot spot right now. I'm gonna walk you through because
Let's go.
I do feel there's a lot of great stuff that's coming just from that quick share. So these are mom, and they're very busy moms, and they could be empty nesters, going through their journey, their work. And it sounds like you personally had gone through that journey, and or going back to the workforce, right? So if you were to describe their day-to-day activity, what does that look like for them?
Moms,
Yeah.
if they have little ones that are in school, they now have another agenda added to theirs. They have a career that they want to get back to. So they have not only the things, the activities that they need to be involved in, networking, training, making sure that they're where they need to be, coming back into the workplace. So, but they have these other little schedules and other people. Um, if they're empty nesters, their children have went to college and now they're out of college, they're young adults. Now it's like, oh, what do I do now? Okay, I'll get a dog. And you're right, Annetta is going through this. So it's like what I originally thought I would be doing now, I have something else, health issues that they have to navigate through, seasons of life, older women versus women in their 40s and 50s. And I know this is my audience because these are the women that come to me on a daily basis. So
Mhm.
that part is sure. The one thing they have in common, they're moms in different seasons of motherhood. And they may or may not have a career returning to, or maybe their next chapter. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are.
This used
Now,
to be fuzzy, but I'm clear on this, if nothing else.
Now, the reason why I asked you and wanted you to dig deeper in terms of what these busy mom, career mom with empty nester, what their day to day look like is so that we can find out exactly what are their list of problems that they're experiencing, right? So just from what you share, they may have little one, they're trying to raise their family. They may have a list of long to-dos that they need to go through. And their days are basically filled with responsibility
Yes.
for others, sacrificing for others instead of taking care of themselves and actually taking rest and not feeling guilty about taking the rest.
That's what I had on that other line. What is their pain point or frustration? Time,
Okay.
confidence. Who is my circle now? Is it just moms? I used to hang out with so and so. A new mentor. Not carrying the same mentor may not work for this season. Mental health and wellness concerns or issues, and burnout from motherhood. And now they want to go back into the workforce and they just don't have the energy, physical, mental energy.
So what really got me wanting to ask you more questions is the word confidence, right? How we define confidence is very different from one person to another. Now, when you
Yes.
use the word confidence, typically it's becoming very vague. Confidence to a single mom looks very different to a mom who's empty nester. So if you're going to use the word confidence, I want you to add to the end of your message so they can do what? So they
Very
can do
good.
what, right? Because they can do what is going to change how your talk is going to flow. If I'm talking to an
Yes.
empty nester, so they can feel confident, so they can do what? They can actually travel more. They have the freedom of time to be who they want to be, or attending webinar and not feeling guilty that I'm spending this money. That looks like confidence to them. Or
Yes.
maybe it's a mom who's raising a little kid and they're going through their everyday activity. Her soul they can do what becomes, I want to feel confident so that I have the time and freedom to take care of myself without feeling guilty. So here's the
Yes.
key for you is I want you to think about 5 other ways of not to use the word confidence but use so they can do what?
Got it.
Okay. So it might look and sound something like this. I believe rest is a right. I help busy mom and career moms to not feel guilty, to have a long list of to do and responsibility, to take rest when they need it, and still be a good mom.
Ah,
You
so would
see
I
where I'm
create
going?
one for each group then?
So technically you don't. If you can narrow it
Okay.
down to like a common, this is why I said define
Okay.
confident 5 times, right? You want to pick one that's kind of shared, the outcome and the result is kind of shared by all the moms group that you serve. Like maybe, yes, they all want their confidence, but that looks like time, having the freedom, and not feeling guilty, which is all three. It covers all across all the mom.
Yes.
Right. So you see how I'm not using the word confidence, but yet I'm still addressing what that looks like for them so that they can have more time, more freedom, and they can actually take care of themselves without feeling guilty about it.
Which is the result. The outcome is the confidence will be there to do
Yes.
got it.
Because
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
you can sell a talk by selling people confidence. I
Exactly.
want confidence, but I want confidence as a speaker, right? I want confidence as doing X, Y, and Z. So what does confidence mean? And that's going to help you to create that talk that it's going to sell. Now, your next question would be how to structure that talk, which I would love to have you in the next session. And what's going to also help you to get paid for this topic is you wanted to connect with people within the women's group, right? Moms group. Maybe there's a community where all these moms hang out, and so you would reach out to the workshop or community center and reach out to them and see if they have events that they plan throughout the year, right? And you pitch to them about your signature talk, signature topic, and say, well,
Exactly.
I'm a speaker locally, and I would love to be, I'll be on your next speaker list. And you make sure you have your rate, your how much you charge ready to go, right? And this way you can give them a proposal.
Everything is there. I'm going to take out confidence because when they hear this talk, they should be able to say, that could work. The person should say, that could be for me. I'm a working mom that doesn't have time. I'm answering, giving them the answer to their question. Will that work? Will that address my confidence? I need to build, I need to take more rest, or I need to have a right mentor, which is all those things. Got
Yep.
it? Okay, I'm going to work on that. Next person. So now you see how easy this is. Step up. Do not leave this workshop. Do not let Michelle leave without touching everybody. I'm serious. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great to have you on the call, Anetta. Now I pronounced it right. Anybody else before we get to wrap up? Bob, you're smiling. What do you got for me?
I'm, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just enjoying watching the growth take place with your challenges, and well done. But I'll share mine with you just if we got a minute.
Of
But
course.
is that I help at-risk people manage violently inclined situations. That's it.
Wait, say that again.
I help at-risk people manage violently inclined situations.
I help at-risk people. Repeat that.
I help at-risk people manage violently inclined situations.
Managing violently inclined situation. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to challenge you for the rest of the day. And I know, Bob, you're gonna work on this. You're gonna take your pen out and you're gonna dig in. Here's what I'm going to challenge you a little bit about: who are the risk people? Who are these people at risk? What does that mean?
Well, the they know themselves whether they're at risk. I don't have to tell them. If somebody's at risk, for instance, if they're being stalked and they've got inappropriate pursuit situations going on and people showing up at their work that they shouldn't be showing up on. So they understand, and it's almost exclusively women that find themselves in those positions. That if you ask your average, try this experiment. Ask any men you know to tell you about the last time they were concerned for their personal physical safety, and they will have a hard time telling you. They won't be able to think of one. And if they do think of one, it was really weird. It was like when my car went over the cliff and it was hanging by the wires and the sparks were flying. But you ask the women the same question, and they'll tell you that it was usually within the last 48 hours.
Okay, so we have a lot of women in this group, and I'm going to ask all the ladies. Okay, so you all you don't have to come onto the camera. I want you to all to give me a thumbs up if you like a emoji thumbs up if you knew Bob was describing you as risk people. Bob, I can tell you that as having someone who come from a healthcare background, when I hear at-risk people, immediately my thought jump into like people who have high blood pressure, people who are diabetic. These are the people that would be identified as risk people. Now, if you're going to speak directly to those who are women, maybe they are single, maybe they are unprotected, then I would just specify that I help women who are at risk of physical violence or verbal violence. And then the second part was inclined situation. So you wanted to complete your sentence so they can do what? So they can better protect themselves, so that they can become aware of their environment, so they can do what? And that would be important for your message, for your talk.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Of course, anytime. All right, so I am going to wrap up this portion of the presentation, and here's what I want you to do. Let me just make sure I have my screen share ready. Here's what I want you to do. Now, you're going to take the rest of your time today to go through this exercise, and if you do need to have more clarity and you want my feedback, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you some feedback. You can email me. We are going to have a second subsequent session that build upon this. So once you come up with the message, I want you to save the date for my next session, which is Saturday, September 27 at 8 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to teach you on how to build a talk that people will remember and say yes to. Now, in that session, we're going to talk about how you structure it. Okay, so today we identified the core message, the key message that you're going to use. In my next session, I'm going to show you exactly how to put that talk together so that you can either present it at your club or you can take it out of Toastmasters. Like Annetta, she wanted to get paid as a speaker. So let's take your talk and get you paid as a speaker. All right, and if you like to connect with me, here is all my links to my social and to my email. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to include my email in here so that if you want my feedback, go ahead and send that to me, and I'll be more than happy to take a look for you and go over that with you so that you can have your signature message out and ready to go. Now, how do you use it, right? That's your last question. How do you use this? You want to use this in anywhere, everywhere possible, including your social media profile, right? Your banner on LinkedIn. You also want to use this in your self-introduction. That is going to help reinforce, again, type the word repetition into the chat because repetition is going to help people to remember it. And that is my portion of the presentation. Thank you.